The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the second day of September 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. I'm Jamal Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Maya Palacio a bit later. How's everyone feeling? It was a long holiday weekend. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend, long holiday weekend, the unofficial end to summer. You can still wear white. I think that was a debate I saw throughout conversations over the last week or so. People talking about, even on skits online, I still wear white after Labor Day. I don't know who made that rule, but it's not a rule I think many people still apply to their lives. But if you do stop wearing white, I feel for you. And if you keep wearing it, do your thing. But hopefully everyone had a safe and a great weekend, because this was our last holiday for until like November. Yeah. Summer holiday mode is over. It's like back to work. And so hopefully you all got all the party out of you and all the fun out of you, especially the teachers, because a lot of you have gone back to work recently. So let's get to it. But greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome coach of Bermuda's women's national football team, Naquita Robinson, onto the show. We're going to be discussing the growth and success of the team. They've done some phenomenal things that should not go unnoticed recently, and still striving to do even more. The daily play is going to be a remember when. Yeah, remember when. So thinking caps on. I'll give you this hint. It's not Bermuda related today. And folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. This morning, we're going to be discussing Bermuda's reputation. I think I've seen some things recently. I know you've seen them too, but there was a video last night that I got my hands on. It looked like a scrap on a boat in Bermuda involving, tourists and locals. And, one of the women in the video basically said, I ain't never coming back to Bermuda. And there are a number of things that go on like that. And whether it's visitors having a bad experience, or earlier this year, we spoke about an expat who lives in Bermuda and did a TikTok video where she had some concerns. She complained about the experience in Bermuda and the like. I think it's something that we all should consider. So question of the morning is, how can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to live or visit? And do you believe Bermuda has a bad reputation? Now that's subjective, so it's all on how you feel. But how can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to live or visit? And I think it's fair as we ask this question to kind of go through, like, well, what is Bermuda's reputation? Like, what do people think? Well, start with what we think about Bermuda as Bermudians. This is in the day of the internet. When we put something on social media, we're no different from a news outlet, because keywords, right? Keywords come up. So when we speak badly about the place in which we live, that catches on, that latches on to things, right? And we whatever people seem to think about Bermuda, those thoughts are considered when people mention Bermuda. So what's the number one thing that we discuss? Cost of living, right? We speak about the expensive label, and we've seen quite a few videos where people, non-Bermudians, have been in our grocery stores and they've spoken about the price of this versus the price of something back in their homeland or where they're from, whether they're visitors or expats. We've seen that. Bermuda constantly ranks amongst one of the most expensive places in the world for food, housing, just daily essentials. People, again, love to compare Bermuda not just to the Caribbean, but London or New York or Dubai, and they often find it pricier, right? New residents and digital nomads, they pay much higher rent. And the housing crisis has some expats in a tough position, like trying to figure out, well, where am I going to live while I'm here? And before you know it, they're looking to leave. Another concern about Bermuda's reputation is the safety concern, right? The number of headlines about gun violence and gang crime, it does overshadow Bermuda's reputation as a peaceful paradise. And it's not just the headlines. Again, when we type social media, when we type on social media, when we engage on social media about the violence, that stuff is on the internet. So it's people see it, right? That's what's going to come up. Now, while crime seems localized and not tourist focused, right? It seems contained. Perception is reality. So visitors may avoid destinations they think are unsafe. And so it could impact Bermuda. As I mentioned, social media amplifies isolated incidents. So one viral video can undo months of good PR and marketing. So I would say those are probably two top issues: cost of living and safety. Unless you own what are some other things that hinder Bermuda's reputation or impact Bermuda's reputation negatively, unless you have any more. But those are some main ones that I noticed. But again, the question of the morning is, how can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to live or visit? And do you believe Bermuda has a bad reputation? Like, yes or no? Do you believe Bermuda has a bad reputation? Now, keep in mind, it's relative, right? I mean, there are places that you might think of and they're like, well, Bermuda's better than this place. Like, are we comparing apples to apples, right? These are things we have to consider. But what are your thoughts, audience? How can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to visit or live? And do you think Bermuda has a bad reputation? Do you believe that Bermuda has a bad reputation? Dr. Anthony Richardson says, generally, Bermuda does not have a bad reputation. This reputation is being eroded by the high cost of living and locals unwilling to serve tourists. That service versus servant debate. You know what's crazy? I was reading Dr. Ewart Brown's book, Who Shall Then Fear, I think it's called. But in that book, he spoke about that. He actually spoke about getting Bermudians to understand that service isn't servitude. And I would have to agree there. Every day, any of us go to work, we're serving. Whether you're a school teacher, you're providing a service for students, right? If you're in customer service, you're providing a service for people. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a service, it's service, right? I think the challenge with tourism in particular, people feel demeaned in those jobs. And I don't know why, because as the late Walter Brown said, his parents were able to build their house and raise their children in that industry, and it wasn't a year-round job. It was seasonal. But obviously, things have changed economically. It's not as easy to do that anymore. But what else, audience? How can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to live or visit? And do you believe Bermuda has a bad reputation? Again, some of the key issues that are shaping Bermuda's reputation as of right now is the cost of living and the expensive label. And people are regularly comparing Bermuda's pricing, not just to the Caribbean, but big cities like London, New York, Dubai, and safety concerns. Although the crime is localized and not tourist focused. Perception is reality, and visitors may want to avoid destinations they think are unsafe. But what can be done? Let's go through some things that can be done to improve Bermuda's reputation. We've got to address the cost of living head on. I'm not going to say the government isn't doing this. I think they know it's an issue. They recognize it's an issue. And I think they're trying to work with key stakeholders, to find solutions. As far as tourism, it's hard because we don't have as many hotel options as we once did. So even finding bundled packages, maybe Bermuda Air, which just celebrated, I think it's second or third anniversary, probably second. They have some different deals to bring people to Bermuda. But then once they get there, the challenge is, well, eating out and entertainment becomes a thing. As far as relocation to address cost of living, I mean, I know Bermudians may feel like, well, we've got to offer affordable housing for Bermudians before we can worry about professionals and expats. Well, again, last week we spoke about what the article that was had Aisha Mussin's name on it from the PLP, and she spoke about the various housing projects that the government was currently working on. I think Harmony Terrace and Battery Road were a couple of them, but those are options. So government continuing to work with grocery imports and subsidies, that's another option. As far as the safety issue, visible policing may help to reassure residents and visitors. Maybe showcasing the safe spaces, the family-friendly beaches, cultural festivals, and also, I hate to say this, but good PR can do wonders for a reputation. Ask some of your politicians. This is your daily discussion brought to you by our friends at Titan Express and Secure. Let's go to the audience. We've got Michelle White says, I think Bermuda is losing its reputation as being a safe place because we give more power to the negative. Yes, we must own it, but power must be given to the general public to promote Bermuda. University and college students and travelers can help. Indeed. I don't disagree with you, Michelle. I think we have a role to play in that. We want to promote the positive. The challenge is the negative usually highlights because people want to address and solve those problems before they spread. But I think when we share things, I mean, we are as responsible as anyone when it comes to our what people see us as, especially with the power of the internet. Kenton Trott says, I believe that on an international level, Bermuda has a great reputation for the most part. Bermuda is beautiful, safe, relatively low corruption levels. Crime is low. I think that depends. I think I felt the way you did previously, Kenton, until I started to speak to expats. Remember that story earlier this year where we spoke about we had an expat who was on TikTok and upset quite a few Bermudians because she voiced her concern about the cost of living and trying to find a place. And she spoke about the weather not being as beautiful as she thought. I think those things don't help us because these are real people with real experiences of Bermuda that they were sold. And the reality is what they were sold or being told isn't what they're experiencing, right? As far as safety, I know Teo gave some numbers about murder rates as far and Bermuda and recently, and it was not a good look. But to your point, Bermuda is considered low-level crime overall. I just think compared to years prior, we're not where people are used to seeing Bermuda. Suzanne Ingham says, I think government is doing their best to help with the cost of living. It cannot be an easy task. I feel them. Okay. I wouldn't say they're doing their best. I would say that they are doing something. I think they know it's a problem and they're addressing it. Whether they're doing their best or not, yeah. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, find ways to match tourists with Bermudians to allow the tourists to really experience Bermuda culture through genuine connections with Bermudians. This in turn will create regular and long-term visitors. I like that. I like that. Kenton Trott says, I think one of the issues with Bermudians is hospitality is the wage issue. Hospitality is the wage issue. I worked in hospitality and construction before my current career. Construction paid much more and had better hours. Yeah, I think that's very true, Kenton. I think that it's hard to live off of what you're making in that space, right? And this is not saying, I'm not saying this to disrespect anyone, but a lot of people who are non-Bermudians who turn to that space are living in tight spaces with some of their, fellow country people, right? So I think we can't ignore that fact. And that's not said to degrade anyone. That's just the facts. That's the reality, right? What else, audience? How can we improve Bermuda's reputation as a place to live or visit? And do you believe Bermuda has a bad reputation? WKD Lama says, I don't think reputation is an issue when compared to DR and Jamaica. I believe the issue comes to cost when it comes to tourism. This is interesting because I speak to people often, and I don't think Jamaica's reputation is as bad as it once was. I think Bermuda would love to have the reputation that Jamaica now has, if we're honest. Our own police commissioner was at a conference recently and highlighted and spoke very positively about how Jamaica's crime has been reduced. Now, I don't know how or why, but over the last month, I've had so many different, on all of my social media platforms, so many different stories about Jamaica. They have an election today or tomorrow. They have a general election. And I guess the parties are PNP and JLP. I don't know who got me. But long story short, they do elections differently there, man. I mean, woo. I've learned a lot about Jamaica in the last month. But to your point, Jamaica's a very, I think most people who pay close attention beyond what we've been told to think about our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean would probably say Bermuda would love to be in the space Jamaica's in currently, because their economy offers more growth than Bermuda probably. And I'm not just talking about tourists, but this is a time when you probably want to be, they seem to be able to attract more foreign investment than Bermuda. I guess that's what I'm saying. They seem to be in that space. Not saying that they do, but they seem to be in a space where they actually can attract more foreign investment than Bermuda. Maybe that's because we don't have any more space to develop. Or do we? I mean, we don't want to touch Southlands, right? And then Morgan's Point. What they putting up there? What they putting the medical tourism facility or something. I don't know. You all know more than I. We've got Charles H. Jefferson II. He says, I believe our reputation is that of a beautiful but expensive destination. Also, I was recently surprised to hear that from some Delta employees that they didn't know Bermuda was a majority Black country. Oh, I've experienced that for years, Charles. Man, I remember working at the airport, chucking bags back in like 2000. And a guy got off the plane and, was using some language against the people there, and they put him right back on the plane because I guess he didn't realize that Black people would be touching his luggage. I'm shocked that that's a thing though. But again, let's be very clear. If the only people in your ads aren't Black, then that's what people are going to expect. And I think, since someone mentioned Jamaica, I'm going to keep talking about them. I appreciate the authenticity in Jamaica when speaking about Jamaicans, right? We're not encouraged to be ourselves when it comes to being Bermudian. We're not encouraged to be ourselves. We're encouraged to be the children of the queen and king, right? And speak the proper English. In Jamaica, as I've said before in this show, you check into a hotel, your bellman's not going to say, well, good morning, sir. It's going to say, yeah, man, respect. Like, they're going to speak to you in their dialect. That's not encouraged in Bermuda. That's considered ghetto. That's considered, not worthy, right? And so until we as Black Bermudians accept that our dialect and our ways are not ghetto, and that this is a part of who we are, then we're going to see it as a problem. So I think, to Charles's point, I don't. That may surprise some, but not many. Ellen Kate Horton asks an important question: Are we sure that we're still majority Black? Well, that's a very good question, because when I was walking through town, I think the week of cop match, I was like, woo, this is a change in demographic. And as Dr. Brown said when he was on here, I've said it since the beginning of this show, Bermuda's demographic is going to look very different in the next 5 to 10 years and under a PLP government. But anyway, folks, let's go through one more, and then we'll go to bring in Maya Palacio for Daily Hour News Break. Dr. Anthony Richardson says we need to embrace who we are as a people, not run from our history and culture. We've got Rosalind Famous says, I guess reputation is relative. I'm still dealing with people thinking that Bermuda is the Bahamas. Absolutely. People still don't know who or what Bermuda is beyond the triangle sometimes, right? All right, let's pay some respects to Titan Express and Secure Trucking. Then we'll bring Maya Palacio. Don't forget, we've got Coach Naquita Robinson coming on. Folks, our women's football team has done some crazy, extraordinary things recently, and you all need to know about it. I know this is the week where the men's team are about to beat up on Jamaica. Yeah, I said it, because I know you all going to come for me, but I said it. I know they're going to beat up on Jamaica, but we've got to honor the latest now and going forward, because they've got some games coming up of their own that they need our support. So I hope the fan zone and everyone is tuned in and ready to get behind them as well. But let's pay some respects and love to Titan and Secure, and then we've got Maya Palacio coming up.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty, folks, let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour News Break. And don't forget, we've got Coach Naquita Robinson coming up after the break.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, greetings to you, madam. How are you?
Feeling pretty good this morning. Interesting conversation as always when you try to think about what separates Bermuda from the world type questions. So yeah.
Well, you speak to people up in Canada and Toronto and areas, but I mean, what do you think the reputation? What do they think about Bermuda?
Expensive, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think Charles really hit it on the nail there. Yeah. Most people that I speak to, they they know it's not Bahamas, type
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like, it's up in the air. Like, sometimes they do get us confused with the other countries that, or Caribbean islands that start with a B. But there was something somebody said in the audience about, they should have some sort of program where tourists can link up with Bermudians for their stay. Funny enough, I'm headed to Japan soon, and there's this website thing that I saw where you could rent. It literally says rent an old person, and it's for trying to actually help their, the elderly in their country who might be bored or lonely or they have nothing to do, and then you could kind of rent them for the day and they could take you around their city and stuff like that. And I guarantee I really want to do that.
Rent an old person. I like that.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I hope Bermudians would be open to something like that. I know that people have suggested similar. It's just about executing, man. I think as Bermudians, we take so long to do stuff. I didn't share what people around me say about Bermuda, but they just think it's just another beautiful island. Like, I had a friend ask me last night, does Bermuda have beautiful beaches? I'm like, well, they're home to the pink sand beaches, and they're from an island too. They're from the Caribbean. But again, it's relative, man. It's relative. I don't think what we think about Bermuda is what others think about Bermuda. I think that's the key. I do think we are forgotten Like we're out of sight, out of mind to many people. Like I don't know if you've experienced this, but me, man, I've never met anyone from Bermuda. I experienced that more than ever now, like more than ever. I never really experienced, because living in the Northeast, that's where a lot of people, we're familiar with Bermuda, right? That's where most of our guests come from. But living in the South, it's like, oh, I've never met anyone from Bermuda. And then obviously what comes next? The triangle. And I think Charles has said this, many people have said this in the audience, Maya. Bermuda has never capitalized on the Bermuda Triangle like it could have. And when you talk about reputation building, that's probably some of the easiest PR and marketing that we have not capitalized on. If that's what people know you for, capitalize on it, man. But anyway, I digress. What you got for us today?
You're not wrong about that. All right, good morning, everyone. This is your daily hour news break brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. So starting out your news break this morning, 43-year-old John Glasgow has been identified as the victim of a fatal road collision on Napton Hill in Smiths. Now, police say the crash happened around 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, August the 24th. This marks Bermuda's 6th road fatality of the year. The Bermuda Police Service has extended their condolences to Mr. Glasgow's family, and a family liaison officer is assisting them. So the investigation is still ongoing, and police are appealing for witnesses. With anyone with information is asked to contact Constable Dennis Joel on 717-2221, or again, you could call 211 as well, the easier police portal number, or go to portal.police.bm as well.
Yeah, sending love to John's friends, family, and all those fellas up Ord Road. I know when we were young, he is quite the footballer for Devonshire Colts. So sending all those love.
Indeed. In other news, the Bermuda Youth Orchestra is making its return this month, and they are calling any young Bermudians between the ages of 11 and 18 to be a part of it. It's a lifelong community that encourages discipline, friendship, and of course, the love of music. So speaking on the hopes for more students to join in was Tiffany Fox, musician, teacher, and the conductor.
As a conductor, I love the aha moments. That kid that struggled, that student that struggles, who thought they couldn't or wouldn't, or says, who plays this or why do they play this? I don't want to do it. And when they go, I got this. You could count on me. I love it. I love it. That's the best. So if you're interested, please email us at bermudayouthorchestra@gmail.com. And, it doesn't have to be a fancy email. Register. 2 children, named, school, great instruments. Let me know what instrument they play, and we will be in contact.
Still one of my biggest regrets, not learning how to play an instrument.
That was something that we talked about too in a very long discussion, because I play the cello, and man, do I ever miss playing it almost every other day. It is a big part of life, like learning how to play instruments. A lot of my friends all wish they knew how to play an instrument. So if you know a kid who loves music right now, get them to learn an instrument. Is probably the best thing they could do, no matter what type of musical outlook they're trying to look into, whether it be like rap or singing or whatever. It's always good to learn how to read a note.
I blame my parents. I asked them for a keyboard and they didn't get it for me. I wouldn't be here bothering you all every morning. I could have been playing in the orchestra on like one of those late night shows, but no, my parents didn't want to get it for me. No, they wanted me. I don't even know. They probably didn't get me nothing for my birthday that year. But anyway, I forgive them.
Wow, just throwing shade at the parents right now. All right, so your big story for today, Canadian producer and engineer Hill Korkutis is making history again, this time by producing the official Sound of Toronto for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, each host city has been given its own sonic ID, which basically, if you don't know what that is, it's like, think of it as like a musical logo and a sound that captures the spirit and identity of the people in that place. So Hill's challenge was to create Toronto's sonic ID. And as we in Bermuda are looking ahead with hopes that maybe our men's national team gets closer and closer to even reaching that stage, so her work is part of the soundscape that could one day greet our players on the football's biggest stage. So here's a quick little clip of my interview with her.
It was actually really cool because they really wanted every producer involved. So in a nutshell, they've chosen a producer from each of the host cities, and there's 16 host cities for this World Cup. It's the first time that they're doing the World Cup in multiple countries and cities. And they wanted each producer that was local to that city to kind of interpret the sonic ID through their own lens and experience within, the culture of their own city. So a big part of the Toronto sound is having it reflect our multicultural identity. We have like so many ethnic enclaves in the city, and I wanted it to feel as you would feel walking through the city for a day, and you're going through all these neighborhoods and there's so much vibrancy and character everywhere.
So speaking a little bit even further onto it and what she hopes people will like feel, and yes, Bermudians too, if they were to come and be in Toronto during that time, this is kind of what she had to say about, what we could probably hope to feel or even notice about the city itself.
And I think it's only fitting that the World Cup should end up in Toronto, because I don't know if, well, I'm sure, I don't know if anyone in Bermuda knows Toronto during the World Cup, but it's a wild time. Everybody's out there sporting their flags for their home teams, and the streets just come alive. So I'm really excited to just see the world come into our city, which is the world within a city already, and just celebrate together.
I'm going to say it, man. I got to experience the World Cup in Canada, the Women's World Cup, but I'm saying World Cup because it was a damn World Cup. In 2015, I think it was, and I went to Canada and the Netherlands, played Montreal. Yeah, I went to Montreal. And when I say it was an experience, again, if you love sport, you didn't even realize like it was a women's game with the crowd and so on. And I'm happy I got to experience it. It isn't, she did say it's the first time it's been in different countries. That's not true though. I think Korea, Japan was the first time it was the multiple countries in 2002, the World Cup 2002. But in saying that, this is the first World Cup, I think it's 48 teams, not 32. So I think this is why Macy O'Dill had said back in 2018, this will probably be one of the best opportunities for Bermuda has to make the World Cup because of the amount of teams that are allowed. Plus, you take Mexico, Canada, and the US out of the qualifying game, and we got a shot. But I love that. I love that deal because do you remember the South Africa song? With Shakira, I think it was Shakira.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah, I think her. Knowing that each country and city is gonna have to earn, folks, this is gonna be an album. Can you imagine? And the cultures of Mexico, the United States, and Canada are so different. This is exciting, actually.
It is. It's a pretty big opportunity for every single host nation to have their own sound put on it. Obviously, if you want to listen to the Sonic ID, it's pretty easy to search up. But I'll be able to play it on my platform as I had to get that FIFA approval for it. So it'll be up tomorrow morning. So you'll be able to hear it on my platform for the larger interview.
Maya, I shared something last year. I said that, because all my teams were doing bad except Noah Village. And I said, I just want my teams to just win so I can start trash talking with confidence again. I'm going to say this. 2 things you don't want to happen, but I do. Bermuda qualifies for the World Cup. You don't, boy, I'm going to be intolerable. And when St. George's finally beats Somerset for that cutback, I am going to be intolerable. Seriously, I'm saying any Bermudian team qualifies World Cup, it's over. And don't let us win another World Cup because gold medal, because Philadelphia, when she won that, it was pandemic. So I couldn't, do anything, right? But folks, I will be insufferable. So I have a lot to say to Jamaicans between now and Friday. I'm going to try to, keep it safe. And because I love my jerk chicken, I ain't trying to have that mess with when I go around fishing things or Yardie Kitchen anywhere. But I've got a lot to say to you between now and Friday. All right. But yeah, sorry about that. Got my green cup here.
No worries. But as you know, Bermuda's going to be playing Jamaica on this Friday, September the 5th. So definitely, if you haven't got any tickets already, I don't even know if there's still any left, but double check, triple check, make sure you get out there and get in those seats and make the seal whole pink and blue for our guys. They're trying to beat Jamaica in this upcoming match for the qualifiers. It's a big opportunity for us. So you definitely want to be a part of that history. Closing out with the weather this morning, it's looking like cloudy spells with some showery intervals from, impromptu later too. So it's just going to be raining. I heard it's been quite a rainy week out there in Bermuda. So, it's just going to be a continuation of that. And we got a high of 86 degrees as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Maya. Real quickly, folks, before we go to break, today it's Telephone Tuesday, whatever that means. It's Pierce Your Ears Day. It's World Coconut Day. I'm going to go with piercings. Do you all have like piercings? Like, does everyone have ears pierced or something? Do you have your ears pierced, Maya? I honestly
Yep.
don't know.
Ears
You do?
pierced and nose pierced.
Oh, okay. Any audience, you have any piercings? I have my ears pierced. I don't know if like they're still open or not, but it's been
It
so
probably will
long.
be. Those are probably the only ones that literally would stay open. My
Yeah,
nose, I feel like I pierced my nose probably like 5 times.
yeah. Maybe I'll try to put some earrings in and wear them tomorrow. See if they're open, folks. And if they are, I'll put them in for you. All right? Nah, that hurts. I tried it last year, I think, and I almost like it really hurt trying to get in. But yeah, Miss Horton says no tickets left. Ears pierced. All right, Miss Horton, you don't have a little nose ring or anything? You don't have a belly button ring, Miss Horton?
I think she just said that her ears are pierced. Or she like shocked at me.
No,
Or
she's saying
you.
her ears are pierced.
Yeah,
But
her ears are pierced.
I'm wondering if she has a little nose ring or something. Charles H. Jefferson says, believe it or not, I have an ear pierced, just one. Okay, Charles. And James Burgess got ears pierced. I wonder, like, I wonder if Teo has his ears pierced.
Is there a person that she always wanted to get but never did?
Yeah, I want to get, when Tupac had his nose pierced, I want to get that. I want to get nose pierced. I'm like,
That
nah.
was a big trend.
No, but I'm like, no, my nostrils are way too big. Tupac had like this narrow nose.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It would look like I went to the farm one day, saw a cow or a bull with the ring. I'm like, nah, that'd be me, man. That'd be me. So I said, nah.
Stop your noise, please. The wider the better.
I appreciate it.
I
That nose is not as wide as mine. Look at my,
put your face up to the screen.
what really doing is like what really doing is live.
Right now. Come on.
Well, we got just you have a totally different face. She says, Nicole also says, just ears and done by a needle and ice when I was 10. I heard that was the old way to do stuff.
Never did it that way. Always
yeah, that sounds painful. Miss Horton said, no belly button or no nose. She says, heck no. All right, Miss Horton. Maya, you have a wonderful day. We've got Coach Keto coming up, so hope you tune in. And I know you love, we're not going to say women's sport. You love sports, so I know you'd be rocked in.
Locked in. Have a good day, everyone.
I said rocked in. Locked in. Thank you. All right, see you soon. All right, Maya Palacio, folks, if you've appreciated the conversation, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, or Instagram, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Coach Naquita Robinson. You don't want to miss this conversation, folks. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Ready to take your financial game to the next level? HSBC is here to help you power up your financial fitness. Your strategy should be sharp and ready for anything, because luck won't get you to the top. Whether securing your future, growing wealth, or planning for life's next serve, HSBC's experts are here for you. From budgeting to investing, let's craft a plan as unique as your goals. Plus, get free financial planning consultations to stay on track. Learn more at hsbc.bm/financial planning. HSBC Bank Bermuda is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Get ready for the cool Bermuda nights ahead. A CI-AC mini split AC unit from BAC Group is the perfect solution, keeping you warm this winter and cool all summer long. While supplies last, you can get a unit starting at just $913.50. Plus, receive an extra 10% off when you pay with cash or credit card at the counter. BAC Group, comfort for every season.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I am Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. If you haven't already, if you're tuned in and streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram, it costs you nothing. Just do us this big favor. Help us beat the algorithm so as many people as you know have access to these most important community conversations. Like with our guest coming up, we've got the coach of the Bermuda women's national football team. Please give us a warm TDH welcome to Coach Naquita Robinson. Coach, morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm great. I got my pink on. I'll be wearing my BFA attire all week. So I'm excited about what's coming up on Friday. I'm like you. I'm optimistic and hopeful. And it's good to know that everything's sold out. So we just got to show up and show out. That's it.
Indeed. You know, honestly, true story. Folks, I should have took a picture. But I wore my blue Bermuda jersey to the gym this morning. And I made him. I said, man, you're supposed to wear it on the show. But I'm saving my pink one for Friday's episode.
Yeah. Hey.
This is the week.
Not a problem. This is the week, man.
Yeah. I was watching highlights. I don't know if I should have shared them on social media. I was watching highlights of Bermuda, Jamaica. I think it was like 91, 92. And we drew 1-1 with them. And Kentuan Jennings scored from like 35 yards out. I was watching that on YouTube the other day. I'm like, people won't know. They just won't know. We used to compete very much with many of these countries who many young people look to and were like, oh, that's Jamaica. We can't beat them. They made a World Cup. No, we competed with them at one point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, so, and it's a relatively good group. The mix of young and experience. So we'll see. We'll see what Friday holds.
Indeed. Well, once again, thank you for making time for us. And you know what? I have to say this publicly. With the success that you've had, I'm apologetic that we haven't had you on sooner, because for those who don't know, your team just experienced its third gold medal in the Island Games, and I want to speak to like what do you think has been the biggest driver behind the team's growth and sustained success over this period?
Well, basically, these young ladies have been together for quite some time. You know, a lot of these girls played at the under 15s, 17s, 20s, and at senior level. So it's a very sisterhood team, and they understand what it takes to get to the next level, and they fight for each other. They work hard for each other. And, you know, it's actually quite amazing to see the growth in a lot of them. And these last Island Games, I saw a lot in my teams that I've been looking for, in my players that I've been looking for a while. And, you know, it's actually given me the energy to go back and look at the younger age groups and what it is I can do to make sure that this is sustainable. What can I give them earlier to help them to be at this level a little sooner? My team is still relatively young, so we still have these players for the next Island Games to try to do what we've done the past 3 times we've played. So it's really nothing magical behind it, but accountability, adaptability a lot, just their willingness. You know I don't get it right all the time, and I know sometimes I really get on their nerves. However, they still show up constantly. They still, I mean, I haven't heard from any of them about training yet. This is the first time since we come back from tour. Usually they're knocking on my door like, Coach, when are we training? When are we training? But this break is needed. The break is needed because once we get started on the next campaign, again, I'm not going to let up. I'm going to expect high level intensity at all times. So I'm hoping that they're enjoying this break at the moment so that when we hit the ground running, we hit the ground running.
Indeed. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Coach Gita, if you want to congratulate them, again, they just won recently their third gold medal at the Island Games. And let's speak about that because in the final, it was a nail-biter. You went to penalties, right? After a 1-1 draw and then 1-4-2. But you mentioned how the players found another gear and refused to drop their heads when the game looked lost. How have you nurtured that mental toughness in such a young squad?
Again, it's them, right? So they dig deep. So they go to work for each other, and it was on the field that happened. I was sitting. I didn't even speak. I didn't say anything to them when we went down 1-0, just because of the belief that I have in them, and because I understood what it is that they have, and I knew that they would dig deep and they will figure it out. And especially Carla Brinkman, I have to highlight her. She gave the ball up, that gave them the goal, but she had such a fantastic tour that I knew she wouldn't drop her head. And it was so brave of her when we won the penalty to go to make it 1-1 for her to step up and take the penalty, because she could have, been sulking in the moment that, Marcy, seconds to go on the clock or minutes to go on the clock and I've given up a cheap goal. And I mean, she's one of our top passers. And so it was, an honest mistake that I know in the past she may not have been that person. But just with what we've been through, I knew that they will come through. Once we went to penalties, I knew that there was no way we were not going to win it. Penalties is something we practice. We practiced it out one of my training sessions was we ended with just penalties. And I make it fun and competitive. You have 4 teams, and we have you make it competitive and you make it fun. So at the end of the day, once we went to penalties, I knew that we had the players to score the penalties. Probably could have used them against Grimsby the other day, but that's a conversation for another time. And Zakari, I have to tip my hat to her as well, who played the entire tournament injured. She has a pretty bad back injury. But I knew that she was in her moment, and she was zoned in and locked in. And I knew that if she can come up with any saves, that will also be the key to our success.
Yeah. I honestly, when I hear coaches speak about penalties, I don't think I've ever heard someone speak with the confidence that you just spoke to. And that says a lot about your mentality as a coach in terms of the trust that you have in the players that you're coaching. So again, audience, if you have any questions or comments, please send them through. Let's speak about the quality of competition at the Island Games. It's compared to previous editions, would you say that the opponents have been tougher, and how does it help you prepare for more challenging fixtures like the upcoming CONCACAF qualifiers?
So, the Island Games, the first one we won in 2013. There's only 2 other teams here. I had an older, mature group. Had been to a few tournaments. I played against some Jamaicans, Haitian, Trinidad, those teams there. So winning that one at home was a little easier. Then in 2023, not knowing the expectations that we had, not knowing what to expect, having to make some positional changes, having to make some adjustments when we were in Bournemouth to kind of get the best out of players. I had brought some players out that hadn't played in a while. And to go through that tournament, not conceding a goal and to win it outright, it was a great feeling. However, we knew that this time that, and we were told by the teams last time that we're coming for you in 2025. So we knew that we had a target on our back. But again, I do very little research on my opponents because I know how we have to play, and we set up to play how we play, and we make adjustments in the game because obviously you have to make adjustments in matches based off of your opponents at times. But if we play how we play and we get on the front foot, then they have to make the adjustments. So we knew going to Orkney that Jersey was our toughest opponent in Guernsey, and we beat them 4-0 in the opening match. So we played Jersey first match again in Orkney, and they go up 1-0, and so it's like, okay, what do we do here? At halftime, having to let the girls know that they don't care that we won in 2023. We have to show them that we won in 2023 and why we're here and why we deserve to win again in 2025. And the players accept that, and they went on to win that match 3-1 with some magical moments by Jaden Masters and some good finishing with Jaya Rattery and Kyla Brangman who scored the penalty. But again, it's always now with our success, always going into matches knowing that we have a target on our back. We're not Little Bermuda anymore. And especially at Island Games, with our men and our women winning, 2027, and the target's even bigger now.
Right. And I want to speak to the players as well, because especially as individuals, we know the men's team that was named for this upcoming World Cup qualifier. I don't know for a fact, but I swear that's the most players I've ever seen on a Bermuda national team where they're not based in Bermuda, like playing in Bermuda. They're playing professionally or outside of Bermuda. As your players grow, how are they approaching this sport? Is it more of them in college? I know we have Leilani Nesbitt at the highest. I'm not sure if Kenny Thompson is coming in the field at any point, but how are they going about the football, especially knowing there's no local necessarily league like it once was back in the day?
No, most of them. I mean, again, why I took this job was for opportunities, right? So most players that are based overseas for the women's team are playing either pro, semi-pro, or are in college, and so that's a good, that's a good thing for us. And I know in the last question you spoke about how Island Games prepares us for upcoming tournaments. The physicality of the opponents is what we need. Technically, we were superior, but physically, and right now that's how we're preparing our players over the next few weeks for the upcoming competition is physicality. So it's a lot of gym work, it's a lot of circuit training, it's a lot of cardio, so that we are able to be a lot more physical, and that helps us keep possession, that helps us win possession, those types of things. So that's what we're looking at now. So to answer this question, yes, most of the players are looking to continue playing post-college. So that's a good thing for us because they are looking to continue to play so they can continue to represent the country. On the other side of that is that we are getting calls throughout all our age groups, from under 15s, under 14s, straight up to the senior women, of Bermudian Thai individuals. So parents who are Bermudians that migrated or left Bermuda years ago and had their children in other parts of the world, are now saying, hey, look at this train, it's moving nicely. I think I want to be a part of this. So I mean, I have three players at the moment that are looking to join our forces, which is great, because these are people that are playing constantly. I'm a part-time coach, I'm a full-time teacher, so to make it to these next levels and to continue to punch above our weight, it's going to take a little bit of help, and the good and bad thing is that we have those persons outside. Locally, we do still have players that are definitely starters in my team, definitely doing the work that they have to do to continue to be starters in the team. But yes, there are more players with the game as it's growing overseas that are looking and knocking on the door to play for Bermuda.
Indeed, indeed. Again, audience, I hope if at nothing else, people understand the success that your team has had over the last few years, in particular since 2013, because you're now tied for the most football titles in the Island Games, making the squad one of the most successful in the competition's history. But when we speak about long-term vision, where do you hope to see the players you currently coach and Bermuda's women's football heading in the next few years?
Yeah, well, we're constantly knocking down barriers, right? We're knocking down. Our last CONCACAF W, we cut right there, So this time is can we get over the hurdle? No, we've been drawn against a really a quality group, Costa Rica. I remember hearing Costa Rica's story in 2014 where they had a 15-year plan. And it was at that time I said, well, we have some pretty quality players. We probably don't need 15 years. We probably need about 7 years to start looking at how we can continue to break through the ceilings that we've been held under. And so I'm looking forward to actually playing against Costa Rica. They lost 1-0 to Canada last year. So we know our work is cut out. It's no hiding from that.
Mm-hmm.
But now we are getting the opportunity, because as we're moving up the tiers, to play against these top teams, and iron sharpens iron, right? We're only going to know how good we are if we play better teams. I want my players looking forward to playing against the teams that are in Part 1 or the teams that are the seeded teams, more than looking at playing against the team that's in Part 5, and no disrespect to any teams. But, excuse me, that is what I am hoping for our players, right? Making it to a World Cup is great. Jamaica, as it stands right now, is probably the only team in the Caribbean that has made it. And kudos to them and the things and the work that they do. But again, the Jamaica team is made up a lot of US and UK based players, right? So in saying that, our hope is to one day have Bermuda's name on that world stage. But my job right now is to continue working with the players that I have so that they can get the opportunity, so that this can be their careers, right? A lot of the girls now want this as a career. More and more want it as a career. They don't want to finish college and come back to Bermuda or join the workforce. They want to continue to play. And a lot of them have started that process. Even the 16-year-olds, the ones that's going off to boarding school, because they want to make that for themselves. So it's a blessing and a curse. I don't get to have them as often as I would like. We don't get to get many training camps so that I can see them more often. But to know that they're out there playing more is going to help us with our strategic plan of making it one day to a World Cup.
Indeed. And speak to the audience. What can I must say, I'm excited to hear that, at least being said around here, that the game for Friday night between the men's team, Bermuda's team, and Jamaica is sold out. But that hasn't been the norm as of late. Speak to this audience and let them know how they can support the women in their quest for success as well.
Well, I hope that the sold out is majority of Bermuda for Friday, but the Jamaica population it's probably 60-40 right now. We have a lot of Jamaicans here, so I'm sure that quite a few of them have bought tickets as well. We usually have a good turnout for the women's matches. Our home in this next campaign, unfortunately, we don't play at home until March. We are away to November and December for our first 2 matches. But in March, it's not going to really be any football unless the men are still in competition, which I believe they are. So the men and the women will both be in competition on home soil. And I mean, to sell out the stadium would be great, but it doesn't tend to be the case for women's sports anywhere in the world to sell out a stadium. Spain are the world champions, and they have trouble selling out stadiums. But it's always great to have the home crowd behind you. I remember when we beat Dominican Republic, and just the feeling of hearing the people in the stands and cheering, and even when we played Barbados here, it was great to have home support, and the players look forward to it. They talk about it all the time about playing in front of Bermuda, regardless. You know what I mean? What I do like about our home fans is that of recent we have started to get the players going. Like before, it'd be very quiet at the stadium until something magical happened, almost goal or a goal. But now it seems like, and I know Friday is going to be loud from whenever the gates open. That's what I'm so excited about, is the noise that's going to be heard all over the island from the stadium, because I know it's going to be very, very loud in there. And that's a good feeling. Like, as I'm standing on the touch line, and I know that usually it's only the covered side that's populated, and to have the crowd have my back, literally, because my back is to them most of the game. It's such a great feeling, and I hope that when we do play on home soil, that everyone comes out. And Bermuda has been great in supporting the women. I hear it on the street all the time. When are you guys playing again? Oh, we can't wait to come up and watch you guys play. And so I'm actually looking forward to that.
Indeed. Coach, thank you so much for this conversation. James Burgess says, congratulations to Bermuda team if they win or lose. We've got Suzanne Ingham says, you and the team are doing an awesome job. Keep pressing forward. Super awesome, Miss Robinson. Keep gaining ground. Awesome Bermuda representation. Just keep us posted when those games are, because what I also want people to understand is, like other countries, if budgets allow, we can get our traveling fans as well. So the opportunity to support the team doesn't just lie at home. So thank you for that. We've got a question from Charles H. Jefferson. He says, with Friday's game sold out, will it be streamed locally? I know it's a men's game, but hopefully Naquita knows.
It should be. CONCACAF Go will have it, but it should be on YouTube now. With YouTube streaming, at times I think it is blocked. So you may need to have a VPN, a UK or US. If you get ExpressVPN, I don't think it costs anything. If you're on a laptop or iPad, you can get ExpressVPN, and then you'll be able to see it on YouTube if it's being broadcast on YouTube. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it will be, Charles, because I mean, in the US, I think it was on Amazon, the recent games. So when we find out, I'll definitely share on the show. Angela Dill says, congratulations, Keto, on all your accomplishments. So proud of you. Yes, we are all proud of you. And definitely look forward to supporting the journey. Don't be a stranger. We definitely would love to even have some of the players come on the show and speak about their growth and what they're looking ahead to. So thank you again for stopping by. And please keep in touch.
I will. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
As well. Coach Naquita Robinson, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, please do us a favor, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you support all of our national teams. It's a great sacrifice by them. As she said, she's a part-time coach. These players are representing the country we all love. And we spoke about reputation earlier. Trust me, when our athletes do well on the international stage, they are helping to build our reputation, not just as a sports place or a country of sports producing sports stars, but a place where people are learning about it and represent, this person carries themselves well. So make sure we're supporting our athletes, male, female, whatever. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because I want to see if you all get this daily play correct. All right? We'll be back in a few. Stick with us.
Considering the increasing challenges faced by financial institutions, the need for insurance protection is a critical component of the risk management framework. At Friesenbrook, our priority is to safeguard your assets with the most optimal, cost-effective risk management cover to help protect your business, whether it be cyber, directors and officer liability, professional indemnity, or property insurance. Call us on 296-3600 to learn more about our full suite of competitive corporate insurance products. At Friesenbrook, we provide insurance you can count on.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Alrighty, welcome back. Thanks again to Coach Naquita Robinson for stopping by this morning. Again, folks, whatever platform you're streaming on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, do us a favor. It costs you nothing. Just give us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Make sure everyone you know has access to these most important community conversations as possible. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring we can pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations. All right, it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia. Bermuda Trivia is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter X to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, are you ready? It's a remember when. It's not Bermuda related, but I'm sure you will all get this. Audience, this is one of the easiest questions that you'll get. What Austrian-American actor served as the 38th governor of California from 2003 to 2011? You are correct, Stacey Ann Brown. I don't know if that's how you spell his last name, but it is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yep, the Terminator. Or as didn't they call him like the Governator or something like that? But yeah, says Suzanne Engelman, easy. She says Arnold, just Arnold. I'm not even going to try it with the last name. I think Aaron Smith got his last name correct. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how she did that, but she got his name correct. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Governator. He served as governor from 2003. Dexter Smith just said Arnie. Yeah, it was Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, served as. All right, let's wrap it up, folks. As far as Bermuda's reputation, I'll say this much. Last week I said, if you don't want to become the news, don't do things that are going to get you in the news. And the truth is, we cannot tell the media to stop reporting the news. We can't tell the media to only report the good stuff. On this very show, I said I didn't want to talk about gun violence or road fatalities. And you all said, but we have to. And the idea is not to talk about this stuff just to hear ourselves, but to talk about this stuff so that we can find resolutions, right? So that we can solve the problems before us. Problems don't go away when we ignore them. As far as the conversation, well, let me finish with reputations. Our reputation will change when our actions change. And until then, we'll be fighting for what we believe people should see us as versus what they actually do. The good thing is that the Triangle and Pink Sand Beaches do supersede most of the internal issues that locals face on a daily basis. As far as the conversation with Coach Robinson, I'll say this much. I hope that we highlight the successes of all of our athletes, but especially when you have the women's team, 3 gold medals in the Island Games. And put into perspective, as she said, only 3 teams participated the first time around, but this is still an accomplishment. There are many people who have never won gold in anything. And I think they need to be celebrated, and we need to push them and support them and start selling out their games. It's on us, right? So congratulations to Coach Naquita Robinson and all of the young ladies who represent Bermuda on the international stage. And like we support the team this coming Friday, hopefully we'll do the same for them when they hit the road. All right, daily inspiration. And I'm going to use some of my favorite athletes. Well, I wouldn't say Michael Jordan's my favorite athlete, but you get my point. But I'm going to use some athlete quotes this week because I hope, if nothing else, our men's team are inspired and motivated to compete and eventually beat Jamaica at home this Friday. Michael Jordan said this: talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence win championships. You know, Dame Flora Duffy says it, Connor Smith said it on this show. So a lot of talented people, but how disciplined are we? One day closer to Bermuda and Jamaica, folks. Alrighty, I'll let you all go to enjoy the first day, post-Labor Day of the traditional work week. Folks, please don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. And please, if you haven't already, whatever platform you're streaming on, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels and stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we're able to pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are Izal. Peace.